Pikmin 4 has a game mechanic that is really important called raw materials, and why this is important is because it allows you to do many things, such as building bridges, getting upgrades for you and Oatchi, getting mounds and walls built as well, and using it to purchase some items such as bomb rocks, ice blasts, and the list at Russ's lab. The challenge today will be to see if we can beat Pikmin 4 without using or collecting raw materials. So yes, that also means we cannot use the charge horn at all in this run, so using Oatchi or throwing is going to be our best bet here. To actually beat Pikmin 4, we are only required to beat the Ancient Sirehound and save Louie. We are not going for 100%, but I will try and save as many castaways and collect as many treasures as possible. The rules for this challenge are as stated. No collecting raw materials, but if we do so, it's not the end of the world as long as, number 2, we don't use raw materials for anything such as purchasing items or building. If we get raw materials for completing parts of the game, which is inevitable, it will happen, you will get raw materials for just playing the game. Like, you come back after a day and boom, you've got some in your inventory. But basically, as long as we don't pick them up off the ground and bring them to our ship, then that's okay. We just can't physically collect them with our own Pikmin. We can get prototype items that Russ sells for free, but we cannot buy anything else. We cannot get any upgrades for Oatchi or our captain, such as the charging horn, and we also cannot get any bomb rocks or any other items besides from the prototype ones that he gives out for free. So yeah, don't go writing a comment saying, oh, your raw materials counter is not 0. Just don't freak out, it's fine. It's literally just some of the free ones that we got from Russ and stuff. Now that is pretty much our only limitation of this run, just no items and no bridges. So let's see how far we can actually get with this. The first few days are normal, as you can't really do much with raw materials before we unlock Russ normally. I also streamed this live on YouTube, so if you want to see more challenges like this either in these videos or on the live streams while I'm actually doing the challenge, then you can subscribe so you don't miss the next one. But anyway, just playing the game normally here, besides from just not collecting raw materials from piles or enemies. We will skip ahead onto a bit that is more interesting since we just do the standard playthrough stuff like getting yellows and ices, but there are going to be sections we can't access due to long bridges, such as this entire half of Sun-Speckled Terrace, so there is nothing we can do about that. I also realised that we cannot leave Pikmin to demolish walls, as raw materials will come out of them and then the idle Pikmin will go and collect them off screen, causing me to have to rewind, wasting time and making me frustrated. Now, to progress through Pikmin 4, we need to collect enough Sparklium and rescue specific castaways, and we are also required to do all the Dandori battles in the game, and here is our first major roadblock of the run. We somehow need to get from here to here without building the bridge, and it may look impossible, but Oatchi's jump is actually just good enough to jump from this tile over to the other side. But there is an invisible wall blocking us from just walking there. But have no fear, there is a way around it. You have to do an extremely precise jump around this invisible wall and then land on the edge. With enough momentum, you will... Oh, well, hundreds of tries later, and yes, it is possible! We can finally go and do the first Dandori battle! After that, I still try and get as much treasure and castaways as we can in the game, so I will attempt to do every cave and get every treasure, but most caves had something like this, making it so that we cannot proceed. Hectic Hollows is not possible because of the wall, but we can collect some treasure, such as this one, on the floor, and then when leaving to the exit it actually keeps our stuff, unlike Pikmin 2, so it is actually possible to get one treasure here. We can also still get bomb rocks from the level, so we can still get past those reinforced walls. Like certain dirt mounds in the areas will actually have bomb rocks, which means we can just infinitely farm them by just coming back every day, so bomb rocked walls are not going to be any issue to us. Blossoming Arcadia is not too bad with this limitation, especially with the minimum amount of Sparklium we need and the Dandori battle being super easy to access. So this one didn't really give us trouble, but there were sections that we couldn't access because of the bridges and walls needing to be built. The only notable thing to mention is that we were able to 100% sightless passage, but we couldn't exit normally since the exit was blocked off by a mound. It also reminds us about the headlamp, but we just cannot get access to that because it costs more raw materials and we can't spend them. And this doesn't stop us from entering the cave, but it does make all the caves that suggest to use it extremely hard to navigate, being pitch black, and the map is just useless. So yeah, it's a lot of caves, like the mud pit later actually need it, and it's just stupidly dark, and oh my god. We will return here later to see if it can be beaten 100%. I did try to get up here, but I was unable to, trying from the method before. But now onto Serene Shores. Most of this area is actually accessible without bridges, as it's so open and flat that you can actually get access to everywhere with ease. The only bit you can't get access to is actually the area with the second blue onion due to the wall. Besides from that, we can actually access everywhere, so let's go and do the below grade discotheque. I think that's how you pronounce it. And great. The first sub-level has its hole blocked off by a mound, so at least we can get the rest of the treasure on sub-level 1, but we cannot proceed any further. Now, let's go to the Seafloor Resort. Nothing was different here except for the fact that we had to leave this flower lake behind because we cannot build the handle to turn off the sprinklers, same as what we had to avoid to do in Blossoming Arcadia. Besides from that, the only interesting part is that on this sub-level we had to go all the way around to get the treasures over this side, just because the bridge was a shortcut, but now we have to go all the way around, so it just makes it a bit longer, but nothing really any worse about it. Also in this cave I learned about how annoying it is for raw materials to spawn or get stuck near the ship, because, well, the Pikmin will pick it up when they collect stuff back, so you have to just keep an eye on them the entire time, and it's so frustrating, you know. Next was the Engulfed Castle, where everything up to sub-level 4 was normal, and yeah, sub-level 4 was the only affected sub-level, just having this mound making it so that, just like Seafloor Resort, we have to go all the way around just to get access to this section. Night mode is also unaffected by this challenge, as there aren't any areas we need to go up in this, since, you know, mainly we just need to protect the luminol, so there is literally no limitation for the night mode. I do a couple night missions that are required to progress, such as getting the leaflings here to get Bernard, but I don't do any more than that since they don't impact this challenge at all. Now we can just get to the Dandori battle, which is so simple by just swimming over here or going in the water. But yeah, after doing that we can finally go to Hero's Hideaway. The only thing limiting us in this area is the wall leading to the doppelganger's den, as well as the middle of the whole room has the stairs. There's like 2 steps, but anyway, one of those steps has the mound on it that you have to build to get up, so besides from making us have to go on this lift to go all the way around, besides from that there's just nothing really stopping us in this area. But we can't actually get access to the Frozen Inferno cave, even though we can actually get to it, because this cave requires the fire resistance power up, and guess how you get the fire resistance power up?
Money!
That's right, with raw materials, so we literally can't even enter this cave. But you may be wondering, well, are we able to get the ice onion? Yes, thanks to me. If you go to this countertop and then use motion controls to first throw a bomb and then throw your Pikmin over, they actually reach onto the refrigerator, so then you can just get the ice onion down without actually going into Frozen Inferno. I am actually the discoverer of this trick, and I documented this nearly a year ago now, but anywho, we got the ice onion back, which is nice, and the rest of the cards are possible to get without issue really. We only really need 2 of them to actually progress to get Olimar, since we can just use process of elimination to get the final code for the safe. And yeah, once the safe is opened, we can just do the Dandori battle and save Olimar. Hooray! We finished half of the game. Yeah, don't you be saying, oh, I beat Pikmin 4 because you got to the credits. You only did half of it. Now onto Giant's Hearth. So at this point in Pikmin 4, there's not actually much stopping us from getting to the final boss. We quite literally have so little to do, including getting back Don Bergman, as well as getting enough Sparklium, and then getting Yorke from the Dandori battle. I also want to mention that in Cradle of the Beast, there was this one sub-level where there was a mound you had to build, and the Pikmin are so stubborn and wouldn't bring the meat off of the unbuilt mound. So basically I used this trick to push the treasure with Oatchi's big fat head. And then eventually with a lot of pushing, we managed to squeeze it through the tight gap.
What did he say?
Although that's nothing new for this hole for reasons you already know. But yeah, eventually we got this huge meat back, and I'm just so surprised that we actually got that. But yeah, we eventually did it by pushing hard. Something less impressive is that we got the boss, and then yeah, that was just making the cave 100% possible. So yeah, getting Dobbs back and then going to the Dandori battle in this area, we defeated Louie and were able to move on to the Primordial Thicket. It wasn't too difficult to get to the Dandori battle since we just needed to go around this way and then jump over here, and oh wow, we made it. But yeah, this final area is going to shock you quite a lot. The only requirements to actually beat this area is to do the Dandori battle, save Nelle, and then go into Cavern for a King the next day. But the main challenge here is somehow getting up that ledge. I knew it would come to this, you know. I knew that our run would end here. I've been thinking about this whole time. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Well, don't you worry your little leaf off, because we have a huge ball-shaped treasure and Oatchi's noggin. If you shove Oatchi into a treasure or enemy, it can actually move it. Do this over and over and you can get them into some useful positions. Now, the plan is to get it right up against the wall and then use the jumping mechanic of pressing Y to get your captain onto Oatchi's back. We can abuse this by, you know, putting the fruit in between Oatchi and yourself, and the captain will try and jump, and hopefully we're going to get our captain to jump up onto the ledge. After a lot of attempts, I was about to give up and lose hope until... Dude! We actually did it. We got up the ledge that I thought was completely impossible. I'm in such disbelief, as I knew for sure that this was impossible, but here we are, and we are up on top of the ledge. We now have access to the Dog Bowl treasure, and more importantly, Cavern for a King. We can finally beat Pikmin 4! Now, before we move on, I want to say a huge shout out and thanks to Pico, who actually suggested to try this when I was streaming the challenge live. I would have not thought of this idea and was going to give up sooner, but they literally gave us the ticket to win. Thank you, Pico. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. I don't know if it's Pico, or something else, but yeah, now we can actually do this. As we approach this final frontier, there is actually nothing in our way to that ancient Sirehound. So let's just do this as completely normal. There is literally nothing else in this cave that has like a bridge or mound we need to do, so we defeat it, and it is in fact possible to beat Pikmin 4 without using raw materials or building bridges. Hallelujah! I didn't expect this to happen. I thought this was going to be a failed challenge, but Pico proved that it is actually possible using this insane strategy. Now that it's actually done, why don't we see how many treasures and caves we can actually complete with this limitation. First I went back to Sun-Speckled Terrace to grab the blue onion that we missed before, and yes, it meant doing this godforsaken jump again. But after getting it down, there is not much else we can actually do here, so I just attempted to get up to the second half of the level, which went as well as you would have thought. It is way too high, even for a big ball treasure. So let's just move on to Blossoming Arcadia once again. Now this location was hell to complete. We need to get to the other side of the Sightless Passage, up to the Kingdom of Beasts, and also behind this plant pot bit, so we can get the remaining treasure up there. This was god awful, and just took hours to do. Firstly, I had to go on an entirely new save file just to get that melon back, since, you know, we used that as a big ball treasure to try and get up the ledges, but because of how badly Pikmin 4 is designed, it doesn't allow you to go back in time to previous days, unlike Pikmin 3, and also the Wii and Switch ports of Pikmin 1 and 2. So yeah, that took too fucking long, but we are back now to experiment. Firstly, this bit with Drafty Gallery. I overthought this and originally thought of getting the melon to jump up here or just doing the bridge thing again, but hold on a second. Can we... No way we can just jump up here. Dude! Dude! No way! Well, that worked. Going into the cave was fine until sub-level 3, where there was this impassable bridge that we cannot get past. So now let's try to get up to this area. I tried to get up here with the melon, but it didn't seem to work even though we were so close. So then I decided to try and get the melon to the other side of the plant pot. This is going to take forever. I then decided to go all the way around and then first trying the sightless passage again and... Oh my god! Yes! We did it! Holy crap. What? This... What? I'm in utter shock. And then also Kingdom of Beasts. So close, yet those damn flowers are in the way. Let's try it from the lower ledge. This took so long because of how long it actually takes for Oatchi to move the treasures. But eventually, nice, another cave that's fully knocked out. This is 100% possible to beat. So finally we get back to the plant pot bit. There's invisible walls everywhere, and literally it was so annoying with the dumbass Pikmin AI. But before using the melon strat, I did try to get the Pikmin to pull the leaf by bringing this 10 pellet over, but the Pikmin are just so dumb in this game. They're so smart and dumb at the same time because they do things like grabbing the treasure from far away and actually attacking enemies if they get attacked, but then they do shit like this and don't grab all of it. Like, really? I want as many Pikmin on it as possible, but no. If Dandori is not the way of Pikmin 4, surprisingly. So after the Pikmin just refused to grab the leaf because the dumbass is like, look at this. With the melon, I eventually managed to get myself up on the dirt, and after blowing up that bomb wall, I got them onto the raw materials, surprisingly. The thing we're trying to be avoiding this whole time actually helped us. And yeah, getting them to collect the raw materials behind, whistling them and trying to get them onto the leaf, and... oh my god, they grabbed it, but no, the sunset, why now, why now? They would have done it successfully if the sunset didn't come. So with that logic, since we can't try again as the raw materials are gone, they would have actually successfully pulled the dirt out, making it actually possible to get to this section. Oh my god, this one was... I was not even thinking this was possible. I swear this one took so much longer and so much more effort than the one in Primordial Thicket. The Primordial Thicket one was actually a lot easier, surprisingly. So yeah, getting this done means that we can actually 100% the surface of Blossoming Arcadia. Still not 100% in the caves because of Drafty Gallery having that one bridge. Oh, anyway... onto Serene Shores again. But yeah, there's not actually much we have to do here just because this level is, well, level. And it has less caves, and I didn't do any more of the Dandori stages other than Dandori Daycare. But I did go to test anyway just to see and make sure that they were actually all possible. And I found out that 2 of them actually have bridges to build. One of them is actually just an optional shortcut, so that one's all 100%. But the second one, which is Oasis of Order, actually has this wall that makes it so that you can't climb up it. So that one is actually impossible. I tried to bonk Oatchi's head against it, and again, that didn't work. So yeah, unfortunately, Oasis of Order is impossible without using raw materials. And while we're on the topic of these kind of stages, I did try the Sage Leaf just to test, and yes, it is also impossible because stage 2 has the entire mission revolve around raw materials, funnily enough, and yeah, we just can't make this jump up here. Since you can't play any of the other stages until you've finished the previous one, we can't even attempt the future Dandori stages for the Sage Leaf trials, so yeah, unfortunately it's as far as we can get with those. And Olimar's Shipwreck tale is entirely possible except for one ship part. In Serene Shores, the area that we were unable to access earlier because of the wall, you know, with the blue onion, that has a ship part up there, and we cannot actually get up at all. I tried to use moss and the dead bodies and stuff, but unfortunately no, it's just not possible to get up. And since you need all the ship parts up to this point to actually progress to Hero's Hideaway, it's also just not possible to beat Olimar's Shipwreck Tail without using raw materials. That's a bummer. Luckily this side mode is optional, but still, that's a real bummer. But yeah, onto Hero's Hideaway. It only had one cave to do because of the other two not being accessible. So it was mainly just Plunder Palace and the rest of the above ground stuff. Plunder Palace is all good up to the final sub-level where we've got to use the Bulwarp Corpse to do the jump technique to get onto this ledge, making this cave also possible. Dude, let's go! We got it! We're up! Giant's Hearth was honestly interesting above ground because we needed to somehow get the fire starters to the main area, but the sprinklers were in the way, making this really tricky. I managed to get the fire starter lodged in here, and then we were able to pick it up and put it onto the, you know, grill thing, whatever it's called, fireplace. Anyway, we got it up to the main area, making this kind of like normal, except that on top of the barbecue, where there was these treasures with the stubborn Pikmin AI not wanting to go off the ledge again, so we had to give them a little bit of a push. Even the winged Pikmin weren't willing to just fly down. Like, winged Pikmin in Pikmin 4 are useless with the pathing. Oh my god, I can't believe them. We were able to get to Dream Home no problem, but not the secret testing range for obvious reasons. But I wasn't able to try the big round treasure technique here, as I already collected things like the apple to try it with, and I didn't want to go back through this entire playthrough just to test it, to see if we could do this cave. Let me know in the comments below if you attempt this and see if you can actually beat it. Give me some proof, and wow, I'll probably use it in a short in the future and just shout you out with it. Dream Home was peculiar because of this wall here, but of course using the technique again we could get up here and 100% this single sub-level cave. Now onto Primordial Thicket again. The mud pit was not possible, as on sub-level 2 it required us to build a bridge to get to the hole. Subterranean Swarm was 100% possible. The overworld treasures were all good except for the gold bar here and the Dandori challenge on the other side of this really long bridge. And yeah, that's why we can't get up. We could try the big ball treasure on this ledge because there is that same treasure from, you know, the previous thing we had to attempt, but I'm not gonna do the whole playthrough again just to test it. So again, comment section. And I also just don't have enough purples, so you know that's not gonna happen. So yeah, this was the amount of treasures that and castaways that we could actually collect using this Pikmin 4 no raw materials challenge. If you want to see more of these insane Pikmin challenges like this, I've got a hell of a lot planned for the future for all 4 of the mainline Pikmin games, and maybe some other games as well. But if you want to see that, subscribe to this channel. I want to grow a lot, so I hope more people can see this content, so share it with people if you want them to see this Pikmin 4 challenge. And also if you got any suggestions in the comments, you can also just suggest a challenge I may attempt in the future on any of the Pikmin games. But yeah, I'll live stream all the Pikmin challenges on YouTube, so you can always tune in and give suggestions like Pico did, so thank you for that, Pico. You really helped this challenge be possible. It wouldn't have been possible without you. So yeah, thank you and goodbye.